You're listening to the Valley Current.
Jack.
Hey, Sam, sorry for the delay.
Oh, not a problem. I've been working.
You look so relaxed, I have to say.
I am. I'm in my reclining chair. Here, take a look. My feet are up, way up. Where's the dog? There's the dog. The beautiful
That's right.
dog.
You got a new puppy there, right?
Oh, man. Nick, her name is Daisy. Nickname Crazy Glue, because we bonded instantly.
You picked her up at the shelter, right?
She had been in solitary confinement for 6 months. Well, they brought him out to walk twice a day, but anyway.
That's keeping you young.
Absolutely.
Right.
I want to show you something right now. I want to show you the prediction markets. So what happened during Biden's press conference?
Right. Everything changed.
No. Harris was on top, and Biden caught up, and now Harris is on top again.
Wait, I'm not understanding. Who's Harris?
Kamala
Harris is competing against Biden? I thought
in the
Trump
prediction markets.
Really?
You can bet on anyone, right?
Okay, wait, you got to give me the background on this. So there's a website called predictit.org. I think we talked about it before.
We sure did.
And it's doing a comparison of who will win the 2024 U.S. presidential election.
Right. So you've got markets for all kinds of people. Let me.
Right, but I want you to do Trump versus Biden during that.
Yeah, we're doing it. But I'm going to go back now. I'm going to go to the 90-day thing.
Okay.
I'm going to add Trump back in.
Okay. So
Okay.
Trump is the lower line, right?
No. Trump is the top line.
Oh, top line. Okay.
What would you pay for a gamble that pays you $1 if Trump wins?
Okay.
And before the debate, at
45
one
cents?
point,
45
Trump and
cents?
Biden tossed.
Right at the debate?
No. Way before the debate. See if you can tell me where the debate took place. So the green line at the top is Trump. The red line is Biden. When was the debate?
Okay, what's the purple line on the bottom?
Kamala
Harris.
Right.
Okay. So
and the vertical bars are the volume in the market.
Right. So it looks like where the high bars are, where the high bars start.
Right? Obviously the debate. But notice Trump overtook Biden on May 14th.
What happened on May 14th?
It was just a slow rising, slow falling. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened on May 14th? Nothing? Zero? Really? Nothing at all?
But look at the picture. Trump was on his way up.
Yeah.
Biden was on his way down. They had to cross at some point. You couldn't predict when that point was. It was May 14th. There was no big deal on May 14th.
So you're saying just the natural changes over time played out on May 14th. Nothing in particular.
Right. Now, here's a date. May 30th. I don't know what happened on May 30th, but Biden took a little bump there. We could look it up.
Little bump up.
May 30th, right?
Right. Because they're like
enough.
They're like neck and neck at that point, right?
Momentarily for that day, but you can see the downward trend.
Okay.
Until you get to the debate, and then all hell breaks loose.
Wow. Yeah, look at that. But Kamala Harris looks like she's actually ahead in this poll as of July 9th.
Oh yeah, ahead of Biden. Yeah.
That surprised you?
Not much. Well, wait a minute. When she first exceeded him, that was a red letter day, because that said, oh my God. Now let's focus in on that a little more. Instead of 90 days, let's go to 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
And again, here's the debate. So right here, I don't know what that bar was. Right here, Biden sends out the angry letter to the Congress saying, I'm in it to win it.
Right.
And now let's go to 7-day. So that's Biden saying, I'm in it to win it about here. And that's Clooney saying, no, you're not.
Right. Right.
Right.
Do you think Clooney is kind of really now weighed in such a way that it's going to make a material difference?
I think it did. It all adds up. Now let's go to 24 hours. Here, Trump is trending down a little bit, but let's get him out of the picture so we get a stronger contrast here.
Right.
And now we see, when did the press conference start? Let me look. I think it's over. Press conference, I think, is over.
Oh, the press conference tonight.
Yeah.
There's a press conference tonight that deals with his speech to NATO, right?
Right, but it was off the cuff. He just did it. No teleprompter.
And,
right?
and he got some good poll responses here, is what you're saying, right? Because it's trending up.
Well, he's read
2 hours ago, right?
Yeah, but he didn't catch up with her.
He didn't catch up with Kamala. They're that far apart.
Well, that's not very far. That's 21 cents to 27 cents. Let's go up the top and see what it looks like right now. He's at 20 cents and she's at 23.
And Gavin Newsom is at 7 and Robert Kennedy's at 3. What about Obama? What about Michelle Obama? Where's she? The 4 more candidates.
So they don't. Some people are not in.
Oh,
Pete Buttigieg is in.
1 cent. Ron DeSantis, 1 cent. Vivek Ramaswamy, 1 cent. Tim Scott, 1 cent. Wow.
Yeah.
So do buy and sell in this market? Is it actually something that you can do to make money?
You bet it is.
Oh, there's money. This is like gambling, right?
Why else would you believe it?
Good point. Good point. Is this the only one or are there other?
No, there's another one.
Okay.
The University of Iowa has the Iowa futures markets.
Okay.
How anyone can talk about how Biden is doing without looking at these graphs is beyond me.
What are the numbers like in terms of total volume of people that are engaged in this predictive?
Yeah, so that's a good point.
What do you think the numbers are like?
Well, hold on. What does it say? How is it measuring it?
But it's not random, right? We can agree it's not really random.
Look at this. Look, it says 44K. Is that 44,000?
440.
Yeah.
Right? That's a lot.
You know what, Jack? I leave it in your capable hands to research this, but you can't talk about who's going to win without looking at this. It ain't Biden. Biden does not have a chance of a snowball in hell.
Well, if you say it's a random sample, which I think is the big issue, because
it's not a random sample. Of course, it's not a random sample. It's people gambling.
People gambling, so they're
putting their money where their mouths are. But are some people trying to spoof it? We don't know.
Right. That's what we don't know. That's really what we don't know.
I mean, this could open up a 5-year conversation. But my dad was also the grandfather of this.
I didn't know that.
How do I know it?
I didn't know that.
Because my dad.
I didn't know that.
My dad. Okay. You've heard of Bayesian statistics, right?
Right.
He did not invent it, but he's generally acknowledged as having been the North American distributor.
Really?
Yes, of Bayesian statistics. And part of Bayesian statistics is personal probability.
Give the audience the difference between the branch of statistics that follows the Bayesian approach versus the branch that follows
and by the way, while we're doing it, go to. Let me go to my latest blog because I've written a Medium article on this that I'd like to get out there.
I didn't know that.
Absolutely. So hold on. Let me go to my blog.
The probabilitymanagement.org blog, which
That's correct. Okay.
Right. You're not.
So what did the presidential debate have to do with probability? Everything.
Nice.
And we go down here, and I'll give you that link.
There you go. Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
And then this is my blog,
mm-hmm.
and then the blog connects my Medium post.
Oh, nice.
The debate.
Nice.
A game within a game.
Generally speaking, your dad.
Oh, yeah. So now, right. So let's talk about personal probability.
Right.
So, and there was this bloody battle of in statistics, the
right.
frequentists versus the Bayesians.
Right.
And the frequentists said probability is based on performing identical random experiments and counting the number of times something happens.
Right. Like flipping a coin.
Like flipping a coin.
Right.
I do it 1,000,000 times. I count the number of heads. It comes out about 500,000. And so I say the probability of the head is 50%. Right?
Right.
Now, the Bayesians say, okay, I see that picture of the Golden Gate Bridge behind you, Jack. What's the chance the Golden Gate Bridge falls down tomorrow? What's the probability it falls down tomorrow? What experiment are you going to do? And the frequentists say you can't measure the probability of that. And the personal probabilities people say, sure you can. You know it ain't zero. That sucker could be taken out by an asteroid or an earthquake. Can't be zero.
Right.
So you have a personal estimate of what it is.
Right.
And it goes like this. Hey, Jack, I'll sell you a ticket to a game that pays you $1 if the Golden Gate Bridge falls down tomorrow. What will you pay for that ticket? You say zero. I say, well, wait a minute, Jack. What if I sell you a ticket guaranteed that'll pay you $1 million if the Golden Gate Bridge falls down tomorrow? And you're thinking to yourself, probably one chance in 10 million. Hell, It's on an earthquake fault. Hey, and you say to me, I'll pay you $0.10 for that ticket. And as soon as the transaction takes place, Jack Russo just paid $0.10 for a gamble that's going to pay him $1 million if the Golden Gate Bridge falls down. We say, well, we know what Jack's probability is. It was 1 in 10 million.
Right.
And my dad wrote a whole book on this called The Foundations of Statistics that says, yeah, you can do all the probability with gambles that people are willing to make. And that he is not quoted anywhere, but that turned into the prediction markets that he never lived to see, but he would have loved them.
Did you, I'm just curious, did you actually read that book as you were growing up? Like, did he expose you to it?
He totally did. Now, in fact, I'm going to give you an anecdote.
Mm-hmm.
The book is so mathematical that to this day, I can't read most of it.
Is that right?
But, yes, absolutely. Right? It's very, very mathematical. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, very mathematical. But we were in Paris in 1951 when he wrote that book.
Okay.
And I said, hey, Daddy, what are you working on? And he described the following to me that I remember to this day. I was 6 years old or 7. So he created a set of axioms, the savage axioms, of rational behavior in the face of uncertainty.
Okay.
All right?
In the 1950s.
Yeah. And by the way, this all grew out of von Neumann's game theory and all kinds of other wild and wonderful stuff. So let me give you one of his axioms. He described it to me this way. You are in a restaurant trying to decide between the chicken and the beef.
Okay.
And you say to the waiter, do you have duck? And the waiter says, yes. And you say, in that case, I'll have the beef. That was deemed irrational.
Right.
And as a 7-year-old, I had to agree. Yeah, that doesn't sound right to me. That sounds crazy. Now, I will tell you one other really interesting tidbit of his axioms. One of them was dented by none other than Daniel Ellsberg, the guy who leaked the Pentagon Papers, who found that one of them led to a paradox.
Really?
And I'm sure my dad patched it up or whatever. I mean, I'm sure he conversed with, because he was still alive.
Right.
No. Oh, yeah, because Ellsberg did this before the Pentagon Papers. But anyway, yeah. So that's that stuff. And Both. Oh yeah, and then but I listened to it continue at the dinner table. I mean, for me, that's why probability is it just comes so naturally to me. I did terribly in school and college. I flunked out of college. Oh, the other thing about my dad, the only thing we have in common in our academic careers is that both of us flunked out of the University of Michigan.
Really? Your dad?
Yeah, a proud family heritage. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But at any rate, I ended up as a math major at Boston University at one point. By that time, I was doing pretty well. But I ended up taking a course in probability and statistics, and I aced them both. It was like, wait a minute. This is the stuff we used to talk about since I was 7 years old at the dinner table.
Like second nature.
Second nature to me. Absolutely. Right? Yeah.
So your dad actually has generated a whole discipline around this idea of his axioms. Remind me of his first name. Is it Edward?
No, it was Leonard Jimmy. But the people who knew him called him Jimmy. Well, and so there's a Wikipedia article on him. He was very prominent in bringing Bayesian analysis to the United States. Worked with people like Milton Friedman, other very prominent people. So when I grew up, I did not have a famous father's syndrome. I thought he was a pipsqueak because he was always hanging around with giants like Milton Friedman. Well, giant, figuratively speaking, Milton was a midget. He was 5'2".
Right.
But anyway, it was probably an important upbringing, and but I mean that's why as we discussed the other day, I'm the father of the Chance Age, and my dad was one of the many grandfathers of the Chance Age. There were several.
Right. It says in Wikipedia, it's under subjective expected utility. And of course, this stuff is very in vogue because in the FTX case, a lot of what was going on with the FTX founders was they wanted to use expected utility or expected value to produce an altruistic model that they called efficient altruism. But what's in here is he's followed the work of Ramsey, which is Frank Plumpton Ramsey, was a philosopher, and von Neumann, which is John von Neumann.
By the way, those are the other two. Ramsey and my dad. Wait a minute. Ramsey died extremely young. Well, so did my dad. Mm-hmm. And then another name in this field is Bruno De Finetti, an Italian probabilist. And that's right. So I didn't know that much about
effective altruism.
What was it called?
What's called effective altruism. The idea that they make so much money through cryptocurrency. Of course, the way they did it was illegal, and they're in jail now, or about to go to jail, or he's in jail, and the others are taking plea agreements and will go to jail. Yeah, long we'll see. But they said, well, we wanted to make all this money because we wanted to save the world from climate change by having all this money to come up with solutions and big problems. They wanted to solve big problems through effective altruism, which ties to this expected value, whether it's your dad's flavor, subjective expected value, or some other flavor, I don't know.
And I would expect you'd find Ramsey in that article on my dad too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's there. I mean, you just search Leonard Jimmy Savage, S-A-V-A-G-E. His birthday is November 20th, 1917 in Detroit, Michigan. Yep. Kind of interesting. He did get a PhD from the University of Michigan, so I don't think
that's after he got back in.
Oh, he got back in. Okay.
You read a biography of him, and he flunked out. He blew up a chemistry lab or something.
But his doctoral advisor was someone called Sumner Myers.
Yeah, I don't know much about him. Okay. But after he got his degree, my dad went off to the statistical research lab at Columbia University, where they won the war with applied math. And that lab...
Okay. So is this part of the whole Oppenheimer thing for the atomic bomb?
No, it was not. It was not involved in the Manhattan Project. It was called the Statistical Research Group. Okay. You also find it on Wikipedia. And it was headed up by Milton Friedman. and a guy called Alan Wallace, who brought a bunch of money into the Chicago Business School, then became chancellor of the University of Rochester, and then became Undersecretary of State for Economic Affairs under Secretary of State George Shultz, who was an old friend of his, under Reagan.
Wow.
These are the guys my dad hung out with, which is why I thought he was a pipsqueak.
Yeah, I mean, your dad was a big-time Republican. That's the point you're making.
No, he was not. My dad wasn't a Republican.
He wasn't?
Milton Friedman and Alan Wallace were.
Ah, okay. So just to let you know, his book, your dad's book, is published. I don't think the copyright is expired, but your dad's book is published. I'm just taking the screen for a second to show you this. Your dad's book is published on the internet as 1972-Savage-Foundations of Statistics.
Oh, that's the second edition.
Yeah, but the copyright is presumably, it's the life of the author, and your dad died when?
71 or 72.
Okay, so
oh, look, 1954. Wait a minute.
The original book was 64, but then it got updated in 72. That's what this...
Wait, hold it. Is that 54?
1954, maybe it's 54, yeah.
It's 54. And notice, by I. Richard Savage, his brother.
Wow, what's that about?
So his estate went back to his family after he died, not to his kids.
Okay, but the life of the author plus... back then, I think it was plus 70 years. Maybe it's still plus 70 years. The life of the author would be 71 plus 70 years would say that the copyright is still good on this, right? So that someone's publishing it. Like it's maybe your brother's doing it, or maybe
because his brother also died. So.
I'm just saying the book is a classic, but it's got a lot of math in it, and it's kind of...
Oh, yes.
Right?
Oh, yeah. And some other interesting things. Look, I quote it, actually, in the Flaw of Averages book.
Your dad would be proud because you brought the concepts that he expressed in ways...
Oh, he would love probability management. Oh, he would flip out.
He would love it.
He would flip out on that. Yeah, I would. Absolutely.
I mean,
because he wanted more people to use this stuff. He didn't want it to be, sequestered to mathematicians.
Right. He presumably took years to write this book, right?
Well, I think mostly the year 51, 52 with the Guggenheim Fellowship in Paris.
Okay. Where you lived?
We lived in Paris for that year, yeah.
And you must have learned some French there, right?
I learned some French phonemes. I went to second grade to a French school, which was a mistake. So my friends in the United States were all learning to read and write, which I never learned to do very well. But I went to a school in Paris with Gene Kelly's daughter, because Gene Kelly was shooting An American in Paris at that point.
Wow.
So I learned some French phonemes like There are very few Americans who can say that.
Yeah, and maybe figure out a way to get a loaf of bread, right?
On his next sabbatical, we were in Rome, and I did learn Italian.
Nice.
So I can get around Italy.
That's beautiful. Seriously,
it is beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing. Really.
Yeah.
So Sam, just generally to wrap up this part of it, when you look at who wins as between the Bayesians and the counter...
Oh, yes. There were bitter battles about this.
Right.
The Bayesians won.
The Bayesians won, right? The Bayesians won.
But let me tell you, there is a story from my brother who my dad visited the Stanford Center for Studies in Behavioral Science, or whatever the heck it is.
Right.
Which is up there on the hill near the golf course.
Right.
Have you ever been there? You know what I'm talking about?
I have. I've been there. Yeah.
He visited there
in
1964.
Okay.
And brought with him my brother, who's 10 years younger.
Okay.
Here is how bitter the battles were.
Right.
During a cocktail party within the statistics department, my brother was 10 at the time.
10. He's older than
10.
you.
No.
Younger.
Younger than me.
Okay.
I was 20 at that point.
Okay.
Some statistician takes him aside. He told me the story just, within the last few years, and said to a 10-year-old, your father is a very misguided man.
Oh, man.
Children are not immune. They're not civilians in this bloody war. Oh, my God.
That is funny. That is.
Yeah, but the Bayesians won big time.
That's really funny. So when you think about going back to this predicted.org thing that you can go and look at lots of things, right? Lots of things. And by the way, they're trying to outlaw it. Look, you have to go to my book, The Flaw of Averages. Let me tell you my favorite one, favorite prediction market. Okay.
Bush invades Iraq.
Right.
They're looking for weapons of mass destruction.
Right.
The Bush administration says, we'll find them, we'll find them, we'll find them.
Right.
The prediction markets say, you'll find them. No, you won't. No, you didn't. And after the prediction market said, no, you didn't, they took that market down. I love it. It speaks truth to power.
They took that market down? How did they take the market down? They closed it down?
No, the government didn't. The market closed because there was no activity on it.
Ah, okay.
You open a market on perpetual motion machines, you're not going to sell a lot of shares.
Right. Okay.
What happens to a stock market after the company goes bankrupt?
Yeah.
They take them off the big boards.
Right. It's over.
That's what happened.
Right.
It's over. So, look, is it gambling? The government would love to shut these down because it is a beautiful eyeball into truth.
Right. Right.
Can the markets be scammed? Can they be? Yes. Right? We don't know who's spoofing these damn things. But for people to not look at them is crazy. There's tons of information there. Tons of information.
So it's too bad in some ways that they don't have a way to make sure that it's a verified user of somehow. But you're saying the people are putting a credit card in and they're doing a bet, right? They're making some.
Yeah, I know, but they could put in lots of bets for some politician to try to spoof the markets.
Right.
Look, wait a minute. Same thing happens with real markets, doesn't it? GameStop.
Right.
Whatever he is, Kitty. What is his name?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they spoofed the market.
Right.
And shorted GameStop and made a whole bunch of money wiping out some big hedge funds. Hey, guys, you believe in free markets or you don't? Free markets are free or they ain't. If they ain't free, then you got a controlled economy and good luck with that. If they are free, then people can spoof it. So,
you have to accept it. You just have to accept it.
And you have to accept the fact that it could be spoofed. So, yeah, I grew up at the knee of Milton Friedman.
Right.
I'm a free market guy.
And when you think about all of the training that you ended up getting, a lot of it ended up being from your dad, right? That led to where
tremendous amount
you did, right?
Without knowing it, of course.
Without knowing it at the time, he was having a big influence on you.
Exactly.
In a big way.
Exactly.
Right? So
that's true of all of us with our dads, right?
So let's just do one last example, if we can, of these markets and how they operate. What's another good example of one that you would say, oh yeah, here's one that played out?
So look, let's see, I could run to my, oh yes.
Put it on the screen because it's not on the screen.
I will. Hold on a minute. What I need to do is to open the Kindle version of my book and show you the chapter in The Flaw of Averages, because I have a whole chapter on this, and there was some. Oh, I have my favorite one. Oh my God, I do. It's so wonderful. Oh God, yes. Yeah, or you can go to flawofaverages.com. Mm-hmm. Well, no, I don't know if both versions are available at flawofaverages.com, but you should go to flawofaverages.com anyway. Okay, I have the book open. Okay, prices, probabilities, and predictions.
Chapter 27 of the
and let me run down.
Is that the second version or the first version?
Second version of the book, but it doesn't make it. They're chapter 27. Not that much changed.
Okay.
Let me start with.
Oh, you got a prediction market on there. You got a graph of a prediction market on there.
I do. Now, can I? Oh my God, there's so many wonderful things here. So, first of all, let's look at the put option market before 9/11.
Right.
And what you discover is that there were huge puts taken out on United and Delta and American just before the 9/11 attack.
Wow, that is
holy crap!
That's like 3 to 5 days before, right?
Yeah.
Thursday.
Well,
the height of it was Thursday.
Yeah. You got to follow up on it and see whether it looks suspicious. I don't know. It's still sort of a mystery, but
it's weird because American Airlines was also one of the airliners, and it doesn't look like the put activity
did
large.
Right before. This is the volume. On the front. It was.
No, I thought United was the one that was the big one. It looks like United's the big one.
No, but wait a minute.
The top one is United, isn't it?
Yeah, but the thing you have to understand here is that the normal put call ratio is a very small number.
Right.
So even a put call ratio of 5 or 6 for American is very high.
Right. I'm with you.
Okay.
Right. Because it's usually calls. People are more buying calls because they're optimistic. So the ratio puts to calls is usually there's way more calls than puts. People just optimistic.
That's right. Okay. Will weapons of mass destruction be discovered in Iraq? Okay. Now let's go further because here comes the good one.
This is all in your book because you're leveraging off of the knowledge of this predicted.org, which I guess is a nonprofit as well.
It didn't exist at that time, but here's the one. The night before Martha Stewart was sentenced. Yeah. All right. Look at the name of this contract. The name of the contract. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, Martha-time.
Dot time.
Right.
Plus 14 months. So this was a contract that would pay you $1 if Martha Stewart was convicted, was given a sentence of more than 14 months.
Okay.
And the day before her sentence, it was the most actively traded item on this prediction market, and it dropped by 25.
Wow.
Down 25. Okay. Now let me show you what happened. I should have rushed out and bought Martha Omnimedia stock. So look at this.
Wow.
Here is this. I didn't buy it, but I should have. What we have here, given that the prediction markets knew it the night before, we were getting insider trading on an insider trading scandal. How funny is that? And I could have bought myself a new Mercedes if I had gotten out and bought Martha Omnimedia stock when I saw the prediction markets.
Right. Well, I guess you're saying if you're tuned into Predicted and you have a feed into it and you're paying close attention to that feed, you can get some social information that can help you pick stocks. Like, is there a thing that says how high will NVIDIA go? Because NVIDIA's taken off like a rocket, as has a bunch of other tech stocks that are in the AI field. Is there a whole bunch of stuff like that out there that talks about future pricing of stocks?
Tune in next time on The Valley Current.